Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, Jessica Walters, the Health Fitness Program Manager for Miter McLean, and I'm going to guide you through a delightful 45 minutes of yoga, which starts in 5 amazing minutes. So if you're here early, thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and lay down on your mat. Just start to come into your breath. We're going to start in a seated position today, I think. But please, if you're here early, totally lay down. I'm just going to finish mentally prepping myself, and I'll see you guys in 4 awesome minutes. Thanks. This is my meditation cushion. I realize everyone might not have a meditation cushion, but they're awesome. I got this a little over a year ago on Amazon, and I picked this one because it reminded me of the Golden Girls. So, feel free to lay down or just take a seat. We're going to start in this upright seated position in 3 amazing minutes. Let me make sure I have some delightful high quality H2O. Make sure you have some too. Okay. Yay! Slightly different view of my apartment today, just a little bit more of the couch. This is some artwork I found on the street. Actually right outside of my apartment, but I found it when I lived down the street. It is Australian Aboriginal weapons, which you can see some of in the corner here. It didn't fit in my car, so but my friend Joe and I saw it and thought that I needed it at the time. So we put it on top of my car, and each of us drove back to my place with one hand on the roof. There's your interesting weird thing about me today. Definitely not above collecting trash from the street. In fact, this is one of my favorite trash finds from the street while we're just hanging out before class starts. Yeah, looks like it would be a super nice golden frame, but it's definitely plastic. If you guys have ever pulled over on the side of the road and just pick something up and kept it, probably won't be doing that anymore. But if you ever have, I would love to hear about your random street finds after class today, and I definitely will maintain that this frame is my favorite, but this Aboriginal art is a great second. Okay. Yay. Okay. Good sharing. Good sharing, you guys. 1 minute till we get started. Take your shoes and socks off. Find that just nice, quiet space for yourself. Is that magical you time? Okay, if you were laying down, go ahead, come into a seated position. If you find that sitting on the floor is uncomfortable for you, if your knees are coming all the way up towards your chest, find a pillow or a block or a folded up blanket or a towel or something that you can sit in just to start to relax your your hip flexors just a little bit, allowing those knees to fall heavy. And if that's still really uncomfortable for you, feel free to just find any comfortable seated position for yourself. Maybe that means sitting with your legs open, maybe with your feet in front of you, just a slight bending your knees, because I do want you to do your best to start to stack your shoulders on top of your hips and your ears on top of your shoulders. But the first thing we're going to start with is just focusing on yourself and your breath. Just start to slow your breath down, slow the day down. Feel free to close your eyes. Yoga is such a great time to really start to practice mindfulness of focusing on just one thing. And right now that one thing is you and your breath. Inhaling in through your nose, exhaling out through your nose is yoga breathing. Through your mouth is a little bit more Pilates breathing. I just want you to keep breathing. So whatever breath feels most natural for you today, keep up with it. Big, slow, deep, full breaths. Exhale slightly longer than your inhale. Keep your chin gently neutral towards your chest. Just notice if you found yourself stretching your chin up towards the ceiling or finding a tucking towards your chest. Start to open your chest a little bit. Elbows start to stretch behind you. Inhale, lengthening through the crown of your head. Exhale, relaxing and releasing shoulders away from your ears. Keeping that chin neutral to your chest, inhaling, stretching up, starting to engage your abdominal core, pulling your belly button in. Exhaling, allowing your elbows to also hang heavy down towards the floor, maybe still stretching towards the wall behind you. Just a couple more moments here in your mindful, focused breath. Making sure that any thoughts that come into your head, that you just clear them away. Like a cat just swiping all that off of a desk. If you do find that your stress of your day or life or anything starts creeping back into your head, what can you focus on? Maybe counting the number of seconds that you're inhaling and counting the number of seconds that you're exhaling to help bring you back into your focus of the moment. Control of the breath, and then just some proprioception, understanding what's happening with your body. So doing your best to keep those ears stacked on top of shoulders, on top of hips. Start to notice the sounds around you. What's the closest sound that you can hear right now? What's the furthest away sound that you notice in your silence? Notice if there are any tastes in your mouth. Just observing whatever it is that comes to you today. Nice work. Nice focus on that breath, you guys. If you have a cushion under you, remove that cushion from your seat. We want to get those sit bones grounded down towards the floor. Let's start to take some nice rolling with those shoulders before we take a forward fold. So shoulders come up towards your ears. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and exhale them back down. Inhale up, pulling back, belly tight. Exhale down. And repeat. As big of a circle as feels good for you today. Keeping that stomach sucked in, core contracted. One more time around in this direction. And then go ahead, change direction of your shoulder circles. Squeezing back. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Just a couple more times around right here. Ooh, really focus on squeezing those shoulder blades together. Last two. Okay. Taking a moment right here in your stillness, maybe having your hands on your knees if you need to, placing your hands right here by your hips, little opening of the chest, still keeping that chin neutral as if you had a grapefruit that you were holding on right underneath of your chin. Awesome. Go ahead and start to walk your right hand fingertips away. Bring your right forearm down towards the mat and stretch that left arm up and over. Really reach through your fingertips. Find as much reach through your left hand fingers as you can, and then while reaching, bring your left hip back down towards the mat. Apply some pressure into your right elbow and find wherever it feels good for your right hand. You might want to have your fingertips forward in the same direction as your knee or away from you, just whatever feels good for you today. However, you can open your back. Pull those shoulder blades together, shoulders come away from your ears, and inhale your chin up towards your left shoulder. Keep stretching through your left hand fingertips through that left hip. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, turn your chin towards your right shoulder. Look down towards the floor. Find a little extra stretch through your fingers on your exhale. And inhale, straighten your right arm, press into your hand palm, lift yourself up. And other side comes down, finding your left hand on the mat, taking a bend of your elbow. Maybe you can get your forearm all the way down. Maybe it's just your hand palm still touching the floor, because I want you to relax and release that right sit bone down towards the mat as much as possible. You might need to walk your hand in a little closer to make that happen. You might need to use a block or whatever it is, just, throwing things out in case you didn't figure it out on the other side and you're feeling a little stressed. No stress. Inhale that right arm up. And start to stretch through your fingers. Stretch through your right hand fingertips. Create a deep stretch on your shoulders. Open your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, squaring your chest towards the wall in front of you. Ground that right sit bone down through the mat. Ooh, big stretch. Inhale your chin up towards your right shoulder. Press that left elbow into the floor. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. Finding that big lifted length. Suck your stomach in, core contracted. Take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, turn your chin towards your left shoulder. Stretch through those right hand fingertips, reach for the ceiling, for the wall once more. And then inhale, lift yourself up, bring those right hand fingertips back down towards the mat. Yay, and bring both of your hands back towards your knees. Gonna get a little bit more movement in the chest. We're gonna start off with just some circles with the chest. So, bring yourself a little to the right. Squeeze those shoulder blades together as your chest comes forward. Coming back, and hands on the knees can help you to find a little rounding of your back. We're just going to stick with one direction. Really focusing on getting some movement in the chest and in the shoulders, like you're making some circles. Some nice, fun body circles. Keep that stomach sucked in. Chin can tuck towards the chest. And then pull away from the chest. Let's go 2 more times around in this direction. Big breaths. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And as your chin tucks towards your chest at the back, get ready to go in the opposite direction. So coming towards your left knee, bringing your chest forward, coming towards your right knee and going back. Keeping those sit bones grounded towards the mat as much as you can. Starting to get some articulation of the spine, getting that chest involved, as big of a circle as feels good for you today. Just having some fun, making some shapes for 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Lift yourself back up. Squeeze those shoulder blades together again. Suck your stomach in. Bring your fingertips in front of you. We're going to walk those hands, palms forward. Feel free to tuck your chin towards your chest. Find as much rounding in your back as feels good for you today. Head falls between your arms for a little modification kind of on child's pose, a little cross-legged child's pose or whatever seated position felt good for you. Big breaths right here. Feel the back of your rib cage expand. And then begin to walk your hands over to the right as much as you can while still keeping that left sit bone down on the mat. Option to bring your left hand on top of the right, or if it felt more comfortable, bringing your right hand on top of the left. As you press your hands into the floor, your chin is tucked towards your chest. You're looking towards your opposite hip or knee. Oh, big press and squeeze. The more you press your hands, palms into the floor and pull that belly in tight with that chin tucked towards the chest, the more activation, the stretch you're going to feel all over your back, especially throughout your left side. I feel it from my left hand palm up towards my shoulder, big stretch in my tricep, all the way down towards my hip, even through my left leg. And change gently using your exhale, walking yourself to the other side. Feel free to inhale and exhale. Just keep breathing, keep breathing. And then find a place over here. Whichever hand palm you had on the top on the opposite side, switch it up this time. Start to really press your right sit bone into the floor. Right sit bone's pressing into the floor. You've got your hand palm pressing into the floor, sucking your stomach in, tucking your chin a little bit more towards your chest, getting some extra rounding of your back. Find the stretch that feels good for you. Maybe squaring your chest on top of your left thigh. Keep breathing. One more deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently release from the stretch. Start to walk your hands, palms towards the center. And we're going to pull ourselves up onto our knees. Coming up into tabletop right here. Make sure you have some safe space for yourself. Move any props that might have made their way onto the mat. Great. Let's give ourselves a little bit of cat-cow. Finding whatever breath feels good for you. In cow, your belly hangs heavy down towards the floor. You're really pressing into your hands, palms, shoulders pull away from your ears, eyes, nose, chin, stretch up towards the ceiling. And as you change your breath, coming into cat, looking towards your knees, looking towards the center line of your body, still really pressing your hands, palms into the floor though. Yeah, your shoulders are closer towards your ears, but you're not sinking down towards them. And then just finding whatever feels good for you. You can stick right here with your traditional cat-cow. Or maybe you want to do some more of those circles with your shoulders like we did before. Maybe you want to get some shimmy shakes in with your hips. Just finding what feels good for you today. And remember that every day is different and every day our bodies are different. So just honoring whatever it is that you can bring to the mat, that you can bring to your mental focus today, is amazing, and your best is always good enough. So thank you so much for just coming and taking this time for yourself, for filling up your personal cup, because you can never pour from an empty cup. So now your soul is going to be ready to share your energy and yourself with others. Awesome. Let's get another stretch of the shoulders right here with a little thread the needle. So keeping your left hand down on the mat. Make sure those shoulders didn't creep up towards your ears. Press into your hands, palms. Pull your belly in tight. Inhale your right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Eyes with your right hand. Exhale as your arm comes underneath of your body. Palm faces up towards the ceiling. Bring your right temple and shoulder to the mat. You can even shift the weight with your hips coming closer towards the right heel. And maybe you want to keep your left elbow stacked on top of your left hand palm for a nice active stretch of the back. Option to walk your left hand forward. A little more of a stretch in your shoulder, a little more in the tricep here. Exhaling, just allowing those hips to sink a little closer towards your heels. Right shoulder coming closer towards the mat. Find some stillness in your posture, in your asana, and take 2 more breaths right here. Start to walk your left hand back in, or start to press into your left hand palm if you kept your elbows stacked. Bring your right arm back up towards the ceiling. Allow your eyes to follow that hand. Once more, big twist, and then exhale, right hand back down towards the floor. Ooh, cramping in my left foot. Go ahead, press into your right hand palm. Oh my, and stretch that left arm up towards the ceiling. Eyes follow your left hand as it comes underneath of the body, palm facing up towards the ceiling. Bring your left shoulder, left temple down towards the mat and start to shift your hips over towards the left side. Create more of a stretch. Oh, it feels so good in your left thigh and glutes. Option again to keep your right elbow stacked on top of your hand palm, pressing into that hand palm, nice stretch throughout your back. Or get the stretch a little more in your arm and your shoulder, walking your right hand forward. Maybe you can get your hand palm flat. Maybe you're keeping those fingertips tented. You're doing what feels good for you. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, or maybe you're doing this practice with someone else at home. Just focus on you. Don't even look at them. This is your time. Yay, you time. Great. Slow down your breath. Come into your complete stillness right here. Then walk those right hand fingertips back in. If you went for the option to walk forward, plant your hand palm into the floor, press into it, lift yourself up. Eyes follow your left hand all the way up towards the ceiling, and then exhale that left hand back down towards the floor. Let's do a little bit of bird dog, a little couple more twists here in tabletop, and then we'll get another stretch into those hips. All right, so keeping your right knee and your left hand palm down into the floor, press into those hands palms, pull your belly in tight, send your left leg out behind you and your right arm in front of you. Keep your eyes focused down on the floor in front of you, pull your shoulders away from your ears and squeeze all 5 of your fingers together, thumbs included, because when everything's tighter, it's easier to be lighter. Point from your toes and try to touch the opposite walls. Gonna get a little bit of back work right here. So take a deep inhale, and on your exhale, bring your elbow and knee together to crunch, rounding of the back, hold. Exhale, release, stretch. Next exhale, crunch, hold. Cycle of breaths, exhale, extend. One more time, nice and slow, crunch and hold. Next exhale, extend and hold. Awesome, we're gonna move a little bit faster and we're gonna add a back extension here. So take a deep inhale, exhale, crunch, hold, extend, hold. Now lift your heel and your arm and bring it back to neutral. Again, crunch, hold, extend, hold, squeeze your glute, lift your heel, back to neutral. Once more, crunch, hold, extend, hold, squeeze and lift, back to neutral. Nice work. Go ahead, bend that left leg up, reach your right hand back and try to grab holds of your left toes. Maybe you can grab them, maybe you're just reaching, just opening that chest a little bit more. Point your left toes up towards the ceiling, squeeze your glutes, kick and lift for 3, 2, 1. Gently bring it back down, release. Bring your right hand back down towards the mat, left knee back down. Go ahead, shake those hips out, shake those shoulders. Woo, nice work, everyone. Just make sure you're still breathing. If you find, Jessica, that's too much, come back to your tabletop. Even just go into a child's pose. Just hang out wherever it feels good for you today. It's just practice. Practice. Okay, let's get the other side. So right hand down, press into that right hand palm. No shoulders as earrings. Suck your stomach in, left leg stays grounded. Extend your right leg behind you. Extend your left arm in front of you. Take a moment, just find your reach. Really stretch through your fingers, stretch through your toes, re-engage your back and get ready for those slow crunches. Take a deep inhale, belly tight, exhale. Elbow and knee come together, find that rounding in your back, press into that hand palm, hold for a full cycle of breath, and your next exhale, extend back out. Big inhale out here, and then exhale, crunch and hold. Exhale, extend. One more just like that, nice and slow. Make sure you're not sinking into those shoulders. Exhale, crunch and hold. Exhale, extend, and here we go a little bit faster. In 3, 2, 1, use your breath. Crunch and hold, extend and hold, squeeze and lift, and lower. 2 more. Crunch and hold, extend and hold, squeeze and lift, lower. Last one. Crunch and hold, extend and hold, squeeze and lift, lower down. Stay right there though in your bird dog. Bend that right leg behind you, sole of the foot faces up towards the ceiling, or point those toes as you reach that left hand back. Just working with the idea of grabbing hold of your foot, and if you got it, great. Ooh, open up your chest, keep your hips squared towards the mat, point those toes towards the ceiling, squeezing your glute, lifting for 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee back down, release your hands, bring your hand back down towards the mat. Ooh, let's send those hips back in child's pose. Your choice if it's an open or closed legs child's pose. Hips come back towards your heels, walk your hands, palms forward. Release your head down to the mat. If this stretches too much in your shoulders, bend your elbows generously. Relax back into your breath. The same slow, focused breath that we got to start class with. Take your time to come back to right now. Last 2 breaths right here. Awesome. Bring yourself into tabletop. And we're just going to do a little prep for plank right now. Okay, so keeping your right hand and left hand down on the mat, I want you to think about lining up either your middle finger or your ring finger with the line of the edge of your mat if you're using one. And it doesn't have to touch it, because I actually want your hands, palms to stay right underneath of your chest. I just want you to make sure that those wrists are nice and straight. And again, we're going to press into our hands and pull our bellies tight to make sure that we're not wearing our shoulders as earrings. All right, keeping your left leg down, you're just going to send your right leg back behind you. Then once you get the ball of the foot down, we're actually going to kind of find some movement to begin with. Just rocking a little bit forwards and back. So your heel is going away from you and then coming forward of your toes. Make sure you're not sinking into those shoulders. So tempting, belly nice and tight. All right, and then come into your stillness, really pressing the ball of your foot into the floor, squeezing your glute, doing your best. I know you probably can't see yourself, so make sure that your heel is stacked on top of the ball of your foot, so no stretching towards the back of the mat and lifting those hips up, doing your best to get your 2 hips in one line. Your right glute is really squeezed, that leg is fired up and working. Change, bring that right leg back in, take a moment. Wiggle your hips, shake your booty. Okay, plant that right leg down. Again, find that engagement of your shoulders. Line your fingers up again with the edge of the mat if you have one. Right knee stays planted. Send your left leg out behind you. Plant the ball of the foot and just find a little bit of movement right here. Just a little rocking back and forth. While you're doing this, really thinking about pressing your hands into the floor, still squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other. Your upper back is super active. We're just kind of relaxing the lower leg a little. Ooh, still breathing, keeping those eyes focused down on the floor. Come into your stillness. So the best that you can, start putting a little more weight and pressure into your big toe than you probably had while you were rocking back and forth. Belly sucked in super tight. Engage that back, squeezing your glute. So you're stretching through your left heel, but you're not stretching it so much that it's going past your toes. Just keeping that nice long line to help find a little more engagement of that left leg for 3, 2, 1. Draw right back in. One more time, shaking those hips. Right and left, right and left. And you knew it was coming, you guys. We're going to go for a quick little plank. A quick little plank, just 10 seconds. And then we're going to send those hips up into down dog. But I'm not going to make us hang out in down dog today. Because tomorrow we're really going to focus on those shoulders, upper body, upper back, and yin. Okay, so keeping that belly nice and tight, pressing into those hands, palms, lining up your fingertips. Feel free to open those hands really wide like a starfish. Press the pads of your fingers into the floor. Engage your back, engage your belly. Step one leg out. Find your focus on the floor in front of you. Step the other leg out. 10, 9, 8, 7. Belly tight. 6, 5. Nice solid line. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Send those hips up towards the ceiling. And then exhale back into your plank for 10, 9, 8. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send those hips up. We're going to do it one more time, you guys. Take a moment. Pedal your heels, though. Take a deep inhale and come forward for 10, 9, 8. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Belly tight. Hips on top of heels. 3, 2, 1. Nice way to go. You're going to step your right foot all the way up and step your left foot up to meet it. And here we are in Malasana. So maybe you need to keep your hands on the floor and keep your hips nice and high. Use your breath. Exhale to bring your hips a little bit lower. Turn your feet out so your heels are in and your toes are facing out. As you release your glutes down towards the floor. Maybe even applying a little bit of pressure into your elbows, but if you can, lift your hands, palms up towards the center of your chest. I really love to, while I'm here, shift my weight from one leg, coming up onto the ball of my foot, onto the other. So you can either keep with that stillness, or join me in just shifting your weight a little bit, right and left, right and left. Even if your hands are on the floor, you can still really work to shift the weight. Just doing whatever you can today. This little sleeping dude, do you guys see him? I don't want to touch him, but he's so cute. He's so cute when he's sleeping or when he's far away. Okay, work to start to lift that chest if you can. Just a couple more shifts for 3, 2, 1. Back to your stillness. Work to get those heels down towards the floor if you can. For 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands down to the floor. Send your hips up towards the ceiling. Go ahead. Heel toe your feet a little closer together. Let's go for side by side, actually. Take a generous bend of your knees and allow your head to hang heavy down towards the floor. You can keep that generous bend in your knees and the weight in your heels to make this a very passive stretch on the back of your legs. The more you send the weight forward towards your toes, the more you're going to feel that stretch all throughout the back of your legs. Really work to keep your feet grounded. Equal pressure through your big toe and your pinky toe, so not rolling out, not rolling in. And exhale as you release yourself down. If you want, you can even reach back, maybe hugging your elbows behind you, maybe hands on the back of your shins to help pull yourself closer. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, finding length through the crown of your head. Great. Bring your hands back down to the floor in front of you and heel toe those feet out nice and wide. Just going to turn to the side. Turn to the side. All right, so your feet are now wider than hips width distance apart. Make sure you don't have the weight in your heels now. Everyone bring the weight forward into your toes. And keep your hands right underneath of your shoulders so that your hips stack on top of your heels instead of stretching towards the back of the room. Keep your left hand down right at the center of your mat. Take a deep inhale, send your right arm up towards the ceiling and turn your chin towards that right shoulder. Still starting to keep the weight towards your toes. Make sure that you're not rolling towards the inside of your feet, so press those pinky toes down into the mat as well. We're gonna go for a half bind. So take your right hand, bend at the elbow and reach your right hand fingertips towards your left hip. Just as much of a reach as you can go for today. And then stretch your right elbow towards the ceiling, turning your right shoulder further up towards the ceiling. Bring the weight back into your toes. Big stretch happening between those legs. Slow down your breath. Pull your shoulders away from your ears. 3, 2, 1. Inhale your right arm back up towards the ceiling and exhale your right hand down towards the floor. Replace it where your left had been and inhale your left hand up towards the ceiling. Just taking a moment, stretching in opposite directions. Once again, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, bringing the weight forward into your toes. If you need to take a bend of your knees here because this is starting to feel like a lot on the back of your legs, that's okay. You can take a slight bend in your knees. Half bind, bend your left elbow, reach those left hand fingertips towards your right hip crease. Stretch your left elbow up towards the ceiling, even in the direction of your right hip, chin towards your right shoulder. Use your exhale, find that twist, bring the weight back into your toes. Ground all 5 of those amazing toes onto the mat. Slow down your breath. Inhale your left arm back up towards the ceiling. Exhale your left hand down towards the floor. Go ahead, separate your hands out, shoulders width distance apart. Turn your heels in, turn your toes out. We're just gonna bend our knees, let your booties drop. Inhale, send them back up to the sky. Exhale, sitting down into a squat. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. 3 more. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. 1 more time. Exhale, down and stay there. Bring the weight into your heels and bring your hands onto your thighs. Yay. Drop that right shoulder down. Really bring that weight into your heels again. Stretch your booties towards the back of the room so that your knees are coming about in line with the arch of your foot or the ankle, not towards your toes. Take a deep inhale and exhale, send that left shoulder down. Right shoulder comes back. Oh, such a big stretch of those backs. Bring the weight back into your heels. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, cat-cow right here. Starting out in cow. Rounding up into cat. 1 more time, down into cow. Inhale up into cat. Roll yourself up. 1 vertebrae at a time, all the way up at the top. Inhale those arms up overhead. Oh, exhale, relax those arms down by your side. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, relax arms down by your side. 1 more time, inhale, arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Interlace your fingers and turn your hands, palms up towards the ceiling. Ground the inner soles of your feet down towards the floor. Stretch up. And exhale, release those hands down. This time, interlace your fingers behind your back. Squeeze your hands, palms together as much as you can. We're going to exhale and hinge forward. Suck that stomach in, bringing the weight back towards your toes. Hairline hangs heavy down towards the floor. Feel free to allow those hands to come up and forward as much as feels comfortable for you today. Chin slightly away from your chest to take that rounding out of your back. For 3, 2, 1. Release your hands gently and roll yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time. Yay! Good work. Let's get some triangle pose. All right, so turn your right toes out. You might need to wiggle your foot out a little bit more and then bend that right knee, bounce and bounce and bounce. Keep some nice big distance between your thighs. You're working to get this right thigh bicep down like parallel to the floor. So you could put a delicious glass of ice cold water right here on your thigh and one day it won't slide off. The most important thing is try not to keep that left hip up. So you're really getting your two hips in one line. So you feel a stretch already in your left glute and on that right thigh. Go ahead, open your arms out to a side. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, we're gonna hinge at the hips. So keep weight in your right heel. Make sure that left hip didn't pop up. If so, shift a little more weight forward. Right elbow comes in front of your knee. Left arm stretches up towards the ceiling. No need or pressure to touch the floor with your right hand. Do your best to stack one shoulder on top of the other. Use your elbow to gently push your right knee back as you stretch your left hip up. Turn your chin to your left shoulder. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Relax your jaw. Pull that belly in tight. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, lift yourself back up. Straighten that right leg. Turn your right foot in. Turn your left foot out. Bend your left knee. Bounce and bounce and bounce a couple times. Good. If you feel like your feet are sliding apart, really think about squeezing your heels together to help activate your glute and glue the outside edge of your right foot into the floor. Find that engagement of your thigh. Make sure your knee's not going past your toes. Open your shoulders and chest and move both arms at the same time. Left elbow comes right in front of your knee. Sit your hips back down again. Make sure that right hip didn't pop up towards the ceiling. Make sure your knees aren't going past your toes or open your step. Once again, glue your right foot down towards the floor. Suck your stomach in. Really stretch up towards the ceiling like a tug of war in equal and opposite directions. Turn your chin towards your right shoulder. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Take a nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, lift yourself back up. Turn your left toes in. Step your feet together. Bring your arms up overhead. Relax your arms down by your side. Just take a moment right here in your mountain pose and your breath. Nice work. Go ahead, inhale both arms up overhead sideways. Stretch your eyes, nose, chin up towards the ceiling. Press your hands, palms up towards the ceiling. No, you can't quite see my hands, palms, but they are pressed up towards the ceiling, flexed at the wrists. You're gonna draw that right shoulder down, like you're pushing the ceiling away, and then change your breath. Opposite arm pushes up. Find as much of a twist here as feels good for you. Working to bring one elbow behind you, just gently looking behind you. Really big, deep exhales as your elbow pulls back into the twist. So inhaling, arms come up overhead. Exhale, finish. Nice work. One more on each side. Big twist with that elbow. Way to go. Inhale, both arms up towards the ceiling. Pull your belly in tight. Exhale, rain your fingertips down towards the floor in front of you. Fingers touch the floor. Inhale into a half lift, so a nice flat back, pulling shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, sink all the way down once more. All right, go ahead, bring your knees back down towards the mat. And then release onto your side hip. Go ahead, lay down on your back. Lay down on your back. Let's take a moment in reclined bound angle. So go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together. Allow your knees to fall out heavy towards the side. Adjust your body however you need to get your shoulders comfortable underneath of you. And know that you can have your heels as close or as far away to the center line of your body as feels good for you today. So try them both out and do whatever you want to with your hands. Maybe one on your heart, one on your belly. If you need a stretch of your chest, you can open those arms out wide to the side like a goalpost. Great way to really stretch those shoulders a little bit too, having those arms up overhead and the back of your fingertips on the floor. And really start to relax and release right here. Coming back into your true practice of mindfulness, back to your breath, to your stillness, to yourself. Scan your body right here in reclined bound angle and start to notice in this moment where you're still holding your tension. Is it in your eyes and your eyebrows? Are you positioning yourself in a way that you're creating more stress in your shoulders? Can you take the tension out of your belly? Can you release your glutes? Maybe you even have to squeeze and release a muscle group a couple times, or shake it out to really find the most stillness, the most focus that you can find for today. And remember, the more that your eyes are moving, the more your mind is moving. So finding that one spot on the ceiling to focus your eyes, or closing your eyes to truly take the focus inward on yourself. Nice work, you guys. Oh. Next up, our last posture of the day is Savasana. So you can stay right here in reclined bound angle, or, oh my, feel free to kick your legs out. You might even need to bob your knees or windshield wipe your feet, or just shake out the tension in your hips and your glutes once more. Feel free to open your legs as wide as you want, your arms as wide as you want if you need to, even taking a bend in the knees to take some pressure off of your back. As we come into our final Savasana, just coming into whatever stillness once more feels good for you today. Stillness and focus on your breath and yourself. So frequently when we feel stress, anxiety, discomfort, the first thing that we sacrifice are these beautiful deep breaths. No one likes to hear when you're stressed, just breathe. But it's so true. Yoga, Pilates, all of these mind-body classes are such a great time to practice putting the body and the mind in a stressful situation, but still truly focusing back to that breath and seeing what you can do within your own control. Because there are so many things that we can't control throughout the day, but one thing we definitely can control, if we're lucky, is our beautiful deep breaths. The practice of mindfulness. Complete relaxation. I hope you had a beautiful stillness. Go ahead, wiggle your fingers a little, wiggle your toes. And then either roll up on your side, roll over and press yourself up, or maybe draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a free massage. Oh, I didn't give you guys any free massages today. And then we're gonna sit ourselves up in a seated position, so we can all finish together, even if we take class separately. All right. Once again, as always, let's finish by bringing our hands palms to the center of your chest. In Namaskar, thumbs touching on your sternum. Take a moment, tuck your chin to your chest as you truly honor yourself for creating this space for you today. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your amazing energy, not just with me, but with everyone else you come into contact with everyone else on this awesome feed. I can't wait to see you guys all again soon. Namaste. Thanks for coming today, you guys. If you have any questions or concerns, absolutely please reach out. there's anything that's still feeling really tight or uncomfortable, let me know so we can focus on it in a class later this week. And if you have any great street finds and weird other things that you can share with us in the chat, I sure would love to see it. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.